Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprofit.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. Today we're talking Week 15 Mailbag. We got some questions from you guys today. We're going to try to help you out as best we can going into the playoffs this week. I got a couple playoff matchups this week. I feel good. 2 out of my 3 main leagues I'm in. I feel like I can win some titles this year. So, and then I'm going to cheer on, if you guys listen, I'm going to cheer against John this weekend. Can't wait for that. It's going to be a good time. So here we go. We got some questions, Jeff. First one from Jay Migliazza. Would you start Miles Gaskin over Joe Mixon this week? Because no. Never. No. If Joe Mixon is playing in a game, I will be playing Joe Mixon over Miles Gaskin every single time. I don't care matchups. I don't care. I don't care anything. I know like Mixon had been banged up a little bit, for a bit, but I don't care. I mean, if Mixon plays, Mixon is obviously always in the lineup over Miles Gaskin. Come on, Miles Gaskin. What are we doing here? Just come on. I know I can see why you might ask the question. Mixon's playing at Denver. Gaskin's playing against the Jets, but there's not a chance in the world I'm doing that. Next one, Bucks fan. Browns defense or Rams defense? Ooh, here we go. Browns defense or Rams defense. I should look up matchups. Browns playing against Las Vegas. Rams get to play versus Seattle. Seattle hasn't been great. Browns I don't know, actually. How are you feeling about that one?
That one's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. No, I think
I think I'm going to play the Rams. I don't think Cleveland's that great. And I don't think the matchups are enough to really throw me towards, the Browns here. The Raiders aren't great, but they're fine. Seattle's similar. I'm going to go Rams.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. At first I was thinking the Browns, but then I realized they played, only 2 teams, one being terrible, Detroit, and then the other one being Baltimore. For some reason they have their number. So I think I like the Rams a little bit more against Seattle.
Yep.
And you got to hope that Russell Wilson he's getting better, but I still don't think that they're all the way back.
All right. Nick Lund, Mike Williams or Darnell Mooney at the flex position. Mike Williams playing against Kansas City, who's much improved defense right now. One of the best defenses in the league lately, which is crazy. Or Darnell Mooney playing against the Vikings. Mooney gave you nothing last week. Mike Williams can be hit or miss, right? I'd probably
I know. Once again, these are really good questions.
This is a good one. I get why this is a
I don't want to go off the cuff on that one.
I think just top of my head, I'm playing Mike Williams, I believe, most likely.
I am too. I was afraid we were going to go different routes.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. Mooney, I guess over the past how many games has been a little bit better, but I still like
freaking
Mike
Mooney.
Williams.
If he didn't have that 1/4 quarter, I'm in the playoffs in the other league, Jeff. That's it. That's all it is. I hate Darnell Mooney. I can't pick him now. He's on my list. No, but either way, no, I'd rather go Mike Williams.
Yeah, Mooney's had 2 really difficult games in a row. You never know what you're going to get out of that offense. I would rather go Mike Williams, even though he's somewhat similar. But Keenan Allen has been banged up. He feels like he's a little more needed at the moment.
All right, next question then. Keenan Allen or Brandon Ayuk? This is from Alan Jones. Keenan Allen going against Kansas City, Brandon Ayuk against Atlanta. Keenan Allen is back this week. Even with that, I'm going to go Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen, yeah, I still do that.
Yep. BK Trace, he says he needs 2 players out of this following group, full PPR. He has Clyde Edwards-Helaire, AJ Dillon, Davonte Freeman, Miles Sanders. If Miles Sanders is back this week, playing again. Let's see here. Edwards-Helaire, I'm gonna throw him in. Oh man, it's probably It's probably Edwards-Helaire and AJ Dillon. Dillon's getting a lot of work lately. I mean, because I don't think I'm going to go with Devonta Freeman. So it then becomes, would you trust Miles Sanders? And I don't. So I'd probably go on AJ Dillon, actually.
That's a rough one. Devonta Freeman has been getting a lot of work. I mean, he hasn't since week 9, he hasn't been under double-digit carries. He's got 2 touchdowns out of it.
It's close. It's close.
It's
a decent matchup. I mean, Green Bay's not a great run defense there.
Is it safe to say that Miles Sanders is out of it for you, no matter what?
I feel like I can't trust it.
He kind of had one good game, and then,
Yeah, I just don't feel like I trust it in the playoffs. And I'm still I'll probably go on AJ Dillon.
Yeah, ride the hot hand. Yeah, that's a difficult one for me as well. He has been getting a lot of work. What is the man, that is a tough one because Devonta Freeman, even though I don't love him, I do think it's safer in a way. I don't know. I'm just afraid that Aaron Jones will catch fire and then we won't see AJ Dillon at all.
It's definitely a possibility. It's not crazy. I'm still gonna roll with AJ.
Yeah. I don't hate that. He's been so good of recent that maybe you just run with the hot hand and you go for the upside. I'm completely okay with that as long as you do Clyde Edwards-Helaire as well.
All right. JB says Gaskin, James Robinson, or Melvin Gordon. So Gaskin plays against the Jets.
Yeah, I think Gaskin would be my number 1.
Well, James Robinson plays against Houston.
I don't like what is happening with that team. So if I don't have to start him, I don't really want to. And Gordon and Gaskin
Melvin Gordon was good last week.
He would probably be my number 2. And sadly enough, I think James Robinson right now is just so dangerous to me when it comes to the playoffs. But that's just me though. Personally, I think Gaskin usually wouldn't be my number 1 pick, but he has the best matchup and I'll roll with him. Gordon, obviously you're going to get cut in half no matter what because Devonta. So it comes down to that. I guess if the Jaguars weren't such a toxic place right now and it wasn't so apparent that it doesn't feel like they really want James Robinson to get a lot of work, I just want to stay away from him. So yeah, I would go Gaskin.
I'm with you. I'll go Gaskin with that matchup against the Jets. All right. The Chris says Taysom Hill or Russell Wilson this week.
Ooh,
and this is literally my decision. So happy you asked the question so I can think about it. Taysom playing against Tampa Bay. Russell playing at the Rams. I
don't like either.
I don't like either. I think I go with a player of those two. Don't know which one.
I go with one of them.
I'm leaning Taysom right now.
I'm leaning Taysom as well. In my head, I was like, man, against Tampa Bay, they're going to be, they can be kind of rough on a quarterback. We could see a complete fall off from him.
It's possible.
It would scare me away enough if I didn't look back. And even when Russell Wilson was playing really well, he bombed versus the Rams. And I'm like, he's not quite back to what he was. I mean, he's put up decent numbers the last couple of games in spite of the hand and everything. But I think I go for the upside because you're here to win. And I go for that Taysom play and say, even if he has a bad game, which he very well might, I still think that he can put up some points. You just need one big run, one big throw. I think Russell, he's a wonderful quarterback and he might end up with 20 points and that would be fine. I don't see a huge game coming off him against the Rams, but you never know with him. He's a true wonderful. He's a versatile quarterback, but I'm going to go Taysom.
All right. Next one. Bready Spaghetti says, would you start TJ Hawkinson, Mike Gaseki, or Dawson Knox? I'm going to probably go Dawson Knox. Hawkinson, I mean, he was hurt last week, didn't play, but he hasn't been playing great. Gaseki can be good, can be bad. I mean, no one's a sure thing, but I'm going to go Knox.
Yeah, me too.
He also asked, says, someone dropped AJ Brown in his league and I picked him up, which, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Says, do you think he'll be valuable the last 2 weeks over a Jalen Waddle or Amari Cooper? So,
oof. I mean, he hasn't. They never really got the passing game going, and I would not, especially over one of those two guys.
Let me see when he's supposed to be back here.
Yeah, I was going to say I would not start him unless I got to see him one game.
Yeah, and that's the problem. You might not get that opportunity. I'm trying to see.
But it's not bad to pick him up now.
He has to miss 3 games, which he still looks like he still had to miss 1 more game. So he couldn't be back till week 16.
Really? It's only been 2?
Yeah, I think
he's been out forever.
So, yeah. He was placed on IR on November 27. Yep. So he still has to miss 1 more game. So week 16, he could be back against the Niners. Man, so week 17, that's probably fantasy championships these days. It's possible. It's possible. Waddle's been I like Waddle right now. I'd probably play AJ Brown over Amari Cooper, but I think you're right. I think I'd want to see it for a week before I did it. So it's possible though in week 17 you'd look at it. It's not a bad pickup to have on your bench and just wait and see though. I'm good with that.
No, plus you never know who else is going to get out there and grab him. Like if someone used him against you in the finals. So it's not bad to grab a guy of that caliber and just say, hey, I'm not going to take any chances.
Yep.
No issue with that. But more than likely, I'm probably rolling with Waddle the rest of the way. But you never know. I mean, depending on what news comes out, but I just can't imagine me feeling good enough to put him in my lineup unless I absolutely had to.
Yep. All right. Dr. G, he's back. It's been a few weeks. Here he is. He's back. He says he's made the playoffs in all of his leagues. So great job there. So he has a couple questions this week. First off, how much would you trust DeAndre Swift if he were to be active this week? Is he worth starting? Is it worth playing somebody a little safer, but with it less upside? So I don't think we're going to see DeAndre Swift this week. I just don't. I don't think we're going to see him. If he were to play though, I don't think depends on what that safe option is. I don't know. I think there's a lot of cases where if DeAndre Swift's playing, they have to feel pretty decent that he's healthy. And I'd probably just roll with DeAndre Swift. I just don't see him playing this week.
I don't either. I could see Detroit kind of really lessening the workload down the stretch. Well, like you said, he's been awfully good, even when, whether he's gotten 33 carries or whether he's gotten 10. So if he's playing, it'd be really hard for me not to put him in my lineup. And I'm imagining that you don't have 2 other stud running backs if you're asking that question. So
yep.
I would imagine I would probably go for the upside with him.
Yep. And then next question for him is start sit, pick 2 to flex out of Darnell Mooney, Chuba Hubbard, Javonte Williams, Rashad Penny, Rashad Bateman. This one is pretty easy for me. I'll see if it is for you too.
What, you're going Penny?
Penny and Williams, easy all day. Not even a question for me.
Yeah.
I feel really good about that. And then the next question actually from Fantasy Pigskin says, is Rashad Penny for real?
Well, that's a
bigger question.
A harder question.
Let's wait and see what happens this week to say he's for real. But this is one thing. Rashad Penny has always been a talented running back. There's been these flashes before, right? We've seen the flashes, but he's been hurt a lot and he's never been able to he was never able to overtake Chris Carson because of that. And he kept getting hurt. I really like Rashad Penny as a player. I just don't trust the fact that he can ever stay healthy. If he were to stay healthy the rest of this season and just keep this up, next year becomes a little interesting to see what happens, But
doesn't it feel like Rashad Penny is filling that role of last minute wide receiver, usually injury, and I guess it is technically with the Seattle Seahawks, but the last moment, okay, he's going to be the one, and if he continues to play like he did last week, he's going to be the one that everyone's like, oh, that was the league winner right at the end. It came a little bit later than normal, but that's what it feels like to me.
It has that. Yeah, it kind of does have that feeling to me. There's always somebody, right? Every year.
There's usually a couple of them. And who knows between Rashad Penny and then perhaps maybe Jeff Wilson or I guess technically that's Deebo Samuel's that's a running back in San Fran right now, but it does feel like there's a few open spots at the moment. Chuba's an interesting one. I don't know. We're still waiting on some of these injuries. AJ Dillon could be another one.
Yep, it's true. But there's a few of them. But Rashad Penny, I mean, he looked great. I can't. If Lamar Jackson doesn't get hurt, I'm in the playoffs with Rashad Penny and possibly being a league winner. Man, it's disappointing. But all right, what do you do? All right, here we go. Zach Johnson. He's looking ahead to week 16 already. Skip over week 15. Let's look at week 16. He says, Eagles or Saints defense. What do you want? Eagles play against the Giants that week, which that'd be a good matchup. And the Saints play against Miami. I'm going to go with the Eagles against the Giants.
I would agree with you.
Yep. So yeah, plan that. If you don't have them yet, go get them right now. That's a good strategy. I really like, in playoffs especially, but all year I love picking up defenses a week early. If you're streaming defenses, it's just the way to go. All right. Sports fan 2 says he barely made the playoffs at 7-7, but he's in. That's all that matters. Any changes you would make to his roster? I don't know who you can pick up, but these are the guys he has. And I bet you there's probably not too many options, but his quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson. So you'll throw in one of those guys and probably feel okay. Jonathan Taylor, Zeke, Saquon, Henderson, if he's back, AJ Dillon at running back. Yeah, you're not getting much better. Wide receivers, Devontae Adams, Terry McLaurin. Hopefully he's back this week. T. Higgins, though, Brandon Cooks, Mike Williams, and then Kyle Pitts at tight end. I doubt there's any moves you can make to make yourself better than that at this point. I don't see any waiver players that'll help you that much.
I mean, later on in the year, I'm guessing that you probably hit injuries at the right time or whatever. Like maybe you could have traded one of those. You have an amazing roster of running backs. Maybe to trade one of those to get a wide receiver, but I don't know who you're going to go out and get off the waiver wire. I think you have a very good chance at winning, though. I mean,
yeah,
you got to just roll with the guys that should be in your roster, and I'm sure you do just fine.
All right, the Chris says, would you trade Travis Kelsey in Dynasty?
I mean, loaded question.
Yeah, there's a lot to it, but yeah, he's 32 years old. He's 32 years old. He's actually been struggling recently.
The last 2 games he has.
I mean, he was only 5 for 74 the game before that even. So
I mean, for a tight end, though. I mean,
but not Travis Kelsey.
He also had a rushing touchdown that game.
Yeah, but that's not often. I would look to trade Travis Kelsey if you could, to be honest, at 32 in a dynasty. Yeah, I'd do it.
I mean, I guess it all depends on who you're going to get out of it, though.
Yeah, if you have somebody who wants to win right now, yeah, you could get some stuff for Kelsey.
I guess that's a good point too. If you don't have a roster where you're going to win, if you're building, then yeah.
Yep. All right. Next up, this is the end here. This is the end. It's Brother Coffee Bean. He says, first off, is Jalen Hurts coming back? I wish I could get some more Jalen Hurts news here. He missed last week or 2 weeks ago. I think he's going to be back. Yeah, he's expected to start this week. So I would expect Jalen Hurts to be back. So you can plan on that one. The next question is, what is Odell's status for returning to the field? So Odell just was put in COVID protocol today. Says, I don't feel comfortable starting Scotty Miller and Cortland Sutton. I wouldn't. And the sad thing is Cortland Sutton is in that same, you're talking about him like that. It's been bad for Cortland Sutton. Because I'm picking up Tyler Johnson, and they also have Freddie Swain and D. Eskridge. Well, I'm going to play Cortland Sutton over those guys all day. I don't know what else on waiver wire. I'd hope there's somebody else you could get out there. I'm not sure. I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't play around with Scotty Miller. I don't think that's going to do anything for you, to be honest. I also don't know how deep your league is, but I have to have a feeling there's somebody better than that in that kind of range further down. You would think so. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, I'd rather go with like a Jalen Guyton or something if you're really deep, like from the Chargers, and hope you get a big play. Or I don't even know who else would be down there. Maybe Laquan Treadwell's out there. He's actually been playing okay for Jacksonville. He can give you some points. I'd rather go with players like that than Scotty Miller's not going to do anything for you. Eskridge probably not going to do anything for you. Freddie Swain's not going to do anything for you. I'd go like a Khalif Raymond from Detroit even. There's a lot of guys I'd rather go. I'd rather do that. I feel like Jakeem Grant had a couple big plays for Chicago. there's a lot of other random guys I would rather have than those ones you mentioned. I also don't know I don't know how deep your league is. I don't even know if any of these guys are available. Who knows how deep this is? But there has to be. I'd feel a couple better than that. But Cortland Sutton with those options, yeah, he's still in your lineup most likely.
Yeah, and there is a chance that Beckham will play. We have no idea yet.
You have to have some negative tests. And,
you have to have 2, and you have to be asymptomatic. So he could play this week.
Let me see.
I don't know how probable that is, though, with everything going on in the NFL. It does feel like there's
it's getting
a lot of people getting sick. So I don't know this is going to look like. I think it actually could get uglier before it gets better.
And he must be vaccinated, because if you're vaccinated, you do have a shot to come back. If you're not, he would be out automatic. But he should have a shot.
2 negative tests, and you're asymptomatic, and you can play within the allotted time. Isn't
it crazy how many cases of it there are everywhere? And remember when we shut down the NBA for months because of one case with Rudy Gobert? A different time.
I still remember the guy touching all the mics when we didn't know what it was. And then he immediately gets it.
Oh man.
You're just like, if we would have known now. We actually do have one more question. This one was via YouTube. Gamer7234. Would you drop Wilson of the 49ers for Antonio Brown? He's asking, and he could drop Hilliard as well. This is a very interesting one.
I don't think we're going to see Antonio Brown do anything.
Well, we don't know if he's even gonna. They haven't said that they're even gonna bring him back. Like, his status with the team is up in the air.
Yeah, literally 3 hours ago, the headline on Pro Football Talk 3 hours ago from Bruce Arians on Antonio Brown decision. It could go either way right now.
Yeah, but okay, so
we don't know.
Would you use? And it's such an interesting one too, because Hilliard and Wilson. I mean, they're useful. It all depends on which one. Are you more thin at running back, or are you more thin at wide receiver? Because look, if Antonio Brown, if they're going to bring him back and they're going to use him, he'll probably be productive, and they're doing it because they can use him. They're not just going to bring him back because now they can just terminate him for cause.
And here's the thing. I think he's coming back. They're playing this game, right? But in a different time, maybe he just gets cut. But in the time of COVID, where all of a sudden you could be out Mike Evans and Chris Godwin in just no time for for nothing, right? Yeah. They get COVID, and all of a sudden you're out those guys. Antonio Brown's very useful. I don't think, as much as they want to make it, Antonio Brown's an idiot. He's an idiot. We all know this.
Once again,
he's an idiot, but he can play football. But he can play football. If you can play football, you get more chances if you're an idiot.
Yes. Also, think about how that team is built. They're built to win right now. They won last year. They need to win now, because every time that they don't pull it off is 1 year closer to Tom Brady hanging it up. And as soon as he goes away, that team goes away, because every single person is there for the championships right now. So to Craig's point, if you are worried at all, like, they have 3 unbelievable wide receivers right now. You lose one, you're still fine. And as soon as you cut Antonio and then you lose another, all of a sudden, your chances get slim real quick, because you can hone in on him, and then we can. Is the running game for real? We'll find out. But so I think this is a very interesting question. I do think that it all depends on the makeup of your team once again. But if you did have to drop either Wilson or Hilliard, which one would you do?
Probably Wilson. Even when Elijah Mitchell's out, it doesn't just go to him. You know what I mean? It's a Deebo Samuel show.
Yeah, it is. I know it is Deebo, but I do wonder with those injuries. Well, do you trust Hilliard at all?
I don't trust him, but I
was going to say, I don't, that one's a weird one too. I don't know if I trust him. I almost think that Wilson might be a better one. If Elijah Mitchell, because he had a concussion and he has a knee injury, that doesn't seem serious. It's more about the concussion protocol. If you have that, and he split carries, well, he didn't split, but he had more carries, but Deebo's the one that got in the end zone. So I do feel like the numbers are a little different, but he's still trending back in the right direction. I feel like if he is the only running back, he will get a lot of, because who else is there? I think Jermichael Hasty.
Yeah, Hasty. Yeah,
he's the only other one.
Wilson would get carries. It's all going to depend on, I guess. Yeah, what Mitchell's status is.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. You have a lot of balls up in the air. I tend to lean towards. Yeah, I guess I don't know. Yeah, if you need a wide receiver, I say absolutely go and get him. If Wilson and Hilliard aren't your number, Oh, I don't know, man. That's a really, really tough one. I think Antonio Brown would, like, even in a flex position, I would rather have him in it if he's going to play. But if Elijah Mitchell comes back, same thing with Wilson. Hilliard, who really knows? But I lean towards picking up Antonio Brown. I would probably drop Hilliard, but I'm kind of guessing at that point. So I just have to be honest with you. That's probably what I would do, but that's a rough one.
Yep. So, all right. There we go. That's it for week 15 mailbag. It's good to see a lot of questions because we've got a lot of people listening that are in the playoffs. So it's good to see. But that'll do it for today. Talk to you guys next time.